tell you something. Don't be scared.
It's midnight, baby, just us two, no bright lights, nothing to prove. Your handshake, mine do too, but it feels right being close to you.
Come closer, don't look away. We both know why you came to stay. Your heart beats loud, I hear it too. This moment's a little taboo.
Don't rush it, move slow, feel the heat start to grow. If you want me, let it show. Tell me soft, tell me low. Taboo, taboo.
Midnight with you.
Hello and welcome everyone back to another Charm Chats and Happily Ever After Sprints. All month long, I'm hosting this Charm Chats with a rotating lineup of Romantasy authors, and I'm so glad for everyone being here today for this conversation. I'm Shannon. I write under the pen name of SC Huston, and you're here on my YouTube channel where I run weekly writing sprints. I'm also the founder and conference chair of the AuthorTube Writing Conference, now heading into its 5th year. And besides what I do here on YouTube, I'm also an epic romantasy author who writes about broken characters, brutal choices, and love that refuses to let go in worlds of dangerous magic, sharp edges, and the occasional dragon. And today I'm joined by Genna Ashwood. Some of you might recognize her if you've been on here on my channel from the podcast, Self-Publishing Tips and Tricks, because she appeared there a couple of years ago under the pen name Nisa Leader. I might have said that wrong. Probably Nisa. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right or not.
You're okay.
Okay. I'm really happy to have her here. And then for others, you may know that she's also my friend from college. We went and graduated with our MFA in creative writing together. So Genna is the author of epic romantic fantasy novels full of morally gray characters, enemies to lovers, found families, and usually a swoon-worthy fae or two. When not working on her latest story, she's likely reading, playing tennis, or spending time with her husband and their adorable son and their fur babies. So welcome to the channel, Genna. Please take a moment and say anything else that you might want to say or anything I missed.
Just thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. I don't do live stream events often, so this is really exciting, and I think this is an amazing thing you put on, so I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed it. I know I did it a couple years ago, and I think I mentioned it. I had said something to you then. I think you were in the process of trying to get back into figuring out what you want to do for your writing, so you had passed on it then. But I really love it to just bring on authors and just celebrate the genre that we're writing in. So yeah,
That's awesome.
We're going to move into Genna's book here in just a second. We have Mars is here. Hello, Mars. How's it going? Hope all is well. The book that we're talking about today, and this is the first book in a series, and under the pen name of Genna Ashwood. It is beginning of the catalog there, but Genna has been doing this. Genna has been doing this for so long. For many years saying Shannon, go do this, you need to be doing this. So I really appreciate the volume of work and the support and everything that has truly made Genna a well-rounded author here. Aphrodite, hello, how's it going? So for anyone who might have a question to Genna, so even though this is the first in her series and the first with this pen name, she has written for many years. So if any questions at all about this book or anything about her writing, please feel free to drop the questions in the chat with a Q before your question, make it easier to find. So, all right. I have a lot of tabs here. All right. So the first thing I'd like to ask is what about this blend of romance and fantasy made it right fit for this story, House of Secrets, and I put lies and vowels in particular.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, it's because the second one has lies. I literally wrote the book, and as I was trying to type in my headline, I was like, what words is this book? It's a Saturday morning too, so I think that's
You're earlier than me. Right? I think I'm an hour earlier. Yeah.
I am, yeah. So my other pen name was more young adult aimed, and it was definitely more fantasy with with a romantic storyline, but with the Genna Ashwood pen name, I've wanted to step more into adult romantasy, and so that was really exciting to me with the story to be able. It's my first series where the romance story plot line is a big part of kind of the whole arc, and I was excited to kind of explore that instead of focusing more just on the plot line. So with this series, the overall plot really comes down to my FMC and MMC and how they kind of navigate this world while, growing closer together and pushing each other in the right ways and challenging each other and everything. So I've really had fun with that so far, and getting to know them as a couple more than I have in previous books.
I know I fell in love with him in the first book. And then I've read the second book as well, which is out now. And I'm curious to see where you're going to take it in the third book. And the third book's going to be the final book in the series, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be wrapped up in a trilogy, and then potentially down the road, not right away, but I have some spin-off ideas where this story will be done, but there's going to be some open endings for some other stories to be told in the world.
Yeah, I mean, that leads directly into, I'm hearing like an echo. Do you hear an echo? Maybe it's just on my end. Okay, so that leads directly into what I was going to, the next question. This series is on this couple, but you have such a big world here, and the 6 houses, which I thought was just a striking foundation for the world. So what came first for you, the idea of the houses themselves, or the characters who would be trapped inside that system? And also give us an overview of the houses if you want.
Okay, yeah. So kind of where the idea came from was I just had an idea of a character who was like a secret keeper. And at first I had no idea where that was going to go. It was just this little tiny plot bunny in my head a couple years before I started the series. And I liked the idea of what you could do what you would do with information if you knew it. And so then when I kind of started, I started from the House of Secrets was the first house that I thought of, and kind of built it out from there. For the House of Secrets in this kingdom is a house of priestesses. So it's a temple, and the priestesses, they hear confessions during the day and offer forgiveness from the goddess of secrets, but they're bound by an oath not to share those secrets. So my female main character, Zariah, she can't share what she has learned, but she uses those secrets essentially to be part of the resistance behind the scenes, because these people who are coming in and confessing things later, she can use that information kind of in her own way. And so that was kind of the basis of the story. And then the other houses are the House of Lies, the House of Whispers, the House of Shadow, the House of Desire, and let's see, which other one am I missing?
Blood?
Yes, House of Blood, the other main one. Yeah. So thanks. Oddly enough, that one doesn't come in my head as much because it's kind of been shunned by this kingdom because the House of Blood is vampires. And so a lot of the behind the scenes stuff doesn't include them because they're kind of out on their own as sort of the bad guys, which brings in my main male character who has recently been cursed by the House of Blood, sort of.
He didn't join willingly.
Yes, kind of against his will, kind of in a bad moment. He kind of gets tricked into becoming a vampire. So he's fighting this new curse, trying to figure out how to be prince of this kingdom while, being a vampire. So yeah, so those were the houses. And then I kind of built the world definitely from the basis of those houses and tried to make the magic a little bit unique for each house. Yeah. And that's kind of my favorite part of fantasy is the world building side of that.
Yeah. I found it fascinating how Zariah, she has like her own agenda and she's acting almost like a spy for the resistance by being part of this house to hear secrets that she cannot share. So it's like a weird, situation she's put herself into, but she's still able to use those secrets to her advantage. So I really loved the premise of it.
Thanks. Yeah. I like that.
Aphrodite says, what motivates you the most?
I think just having it all come together, like these ideas. The idea phase is my favorite part of writing as I'm, bouncing around the plots and the characters and the twists and kind of allowing myself room as I draft. I do plot, so I kind of like to throw all those ideas into a plot, but then I'll be taking different ways as I write. So I think just the ideas, being able to be creative in a way where like it's like almost like a little puzzle to me. Like, okay, there's these characters and this is how they work, and then they're kind of going against the world. So it becomes almost like this game to make it the best it can be by coming up with new ideas and twists and turns and everything.
I love that. It is so funny because I kind of do the same thing, except I don't plot. So we have very similar ways of approaching it, except that I don't plot and you plot, but we still approach it the same. So yeah, that's kind of cool. We had Mr. Vlandis. Ben came in. Hello, everyone. I love the house theme. I do too. I think it's really cool. And it's interesting. I mean, when you think about House of Lies, Secrets, Whispers, these are all kind of feel the same. Like, I mean, obviously but they feel the same as far as like, I don't know what I'm trying to say. That these are all things that are kept hush in some way, or like a whisper is small lies you're not going to share with everybody. Secrets you're not going to share with everybody. And then blood. And it feels like it's totally out there, but then it is also the one that is put out, that people think of as the outcast house. And so I really love that. And Aphrodite says hi to Ben. All right, next question. I have too many tabs open here. Zoraya's vows as a priestess create a fascinating constraint, especially since the secrets are literally her domain. But so how did you approach writing this character whose power comes from knowledge that she is forbidden to speak?
Yeah, so I think that was like a real big sort of thing that holds her back, but in a good way. So the kind of lore behind it is you take a priestess oath. You cannot share what you have heard, but you're not bound by the inability to speak. You're bound by you'll be like a curse will fall upon you if you share this. And so there's that little bit of gray area where she could share something, but it would cost her. And so how does she navigate that? And then it gets really tricky for her because if she accidentally says something, then that could cause the curse to happen. And so it was fun to watch her have to figure out the best ways to use this knowledge she has in a way that won't get her cursed. But she finds out a pretty big secret early on, and that kind of drives the story forward for her figuring out how to use her information without getting herself cursed. So that is a big part of her character. And it kind of is interesting because she's a priestess by day who typically are thought of like devout, and she just really isn't that personality because she is using these things behind closed doors. So it was a fun character to write in that way.
Yeah. And that automatically introduces more tension when, the vows are not stopping her from saying anything. She has to be very careful of what she says. So, definitely different there. And it adds that tension in there that I don't think someone would have thought about that at first, how that could actually affect a character and the choices they make. So, all right. So Nevin, who is the prince, he's positioned as both a symbol of oppression and someone quietly unraveling underneath it. How intentional was it for you to let readers question whether he was a villain, an ally, or something in between? This was one of my favorite parts, I have to say, because for most of the book, I was like, okay, is Nevin going to be a good guy, or is he going to be the bad guy for this series?
So for Nevin, he really surprised me as I wrote, because he ended up way more broody than I intentionally when I was just, because I plot. I really wanted. My idea was an enemies to lovers, but he ended up challenging sort of the character I initially envisioned that was going to be a little bit darker because of this real guilt he feels for what he's feeling. But at the same time, he has turned into a vampire, and that's just his new reality. And that struggle came as I wrote him more than it was planned. And so I felt like that really helped him be a stronger character in the end, because I really just let the character guide me. And I love that the idea of having to fight these things inside us that we don't like. It's kind of goes beyond the plot of this. I like that idea that we have to fight these darker things inside of us, and just pushing them away doesn't always work, especially in the case of a vampire, when that blood craving is so large that they can't always control it. So I liked him as a character for that reason. And really it was just him guiding me, figuring as I figured out as the author of the place, it was really him helping me figure that out as a character.
It was really good. Like, you have internal motivations and anxieties for him. So that's there's another word I'm trying to think of. So internal conflict with the external conflict. So it made for a very interesting character there. Yeah. Rachel came in. Woohoo, made it. Hope we're having a lovely day. We are. Thank you so much, Rachel. Aphrodite has a question for you. How do you name your characters? I'm always fascinated by storytellers' naming styles.
So for me, it's a mix. Sometimes it's like just going on to babynames.com and browsing until I find one that really just catches my attention. And it's usually after I know the character a little bit. So the first scene with a new character, they just get a placeholder of name, and then I go back because I like to know them before I name them for the most part. And then every once in a while I will look up like names that mean something. If it's a villain, I want it to maybe have a deeper meaning than just a name I like. So it's a little bit of both depending on what type of character it is.
Yeah. A lot of villain names will often start with D's and K's too. I think that's very interesting. It's the way we in English pronounce D and K. It's a harsh sound, so it often gets.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little bit of psychology there.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And then hey to Rachel from Aphrodite. All right, so this is the first book in the Crown of Deceit series, and it clearly sets up a much larger story across the houses. And so I did ask you, because I guess I couldn't wait. I asked this question before we started, but I did ask how far ahead did you, well, I asked like if it's going to stop at 3 books, but how far ahead did you plan the series initially, and what can readers expect the focus to shift toward in future books?
So initially when I planned it, it was going to be a bit of a longer series, which I have since kind of decided to stop at a trilogy and keep this kind of second half of what that series planned for maybe some different main characters to tell. It's kind of where I'm at now, but we'll kind of see as I write this 3rd book if I feel like I've wrapped it up well enough. But I had some general plot lines, like of the sort of 5 to 6 books that I'd initially planned. I had just general overarching plots of ideas, but a lot of times those change for me as I write. I like to kind of know where I'm sort of going until I get a better idea, and then I can shift. So it just like a paragraph for each book was planned. And then, but I would say, especially in this series, the characters have kind of taken me elsewhere. So I've adjusted as I went.
Yeah. So the second half that you kind of planned that you might give to other main characters, that would maybe continue on the same timeline. So it comes directly after the series.
It would come after. Yes. Yeah. There might be a gap. We'll see.
Yeah.
And we'll see if that will be, I'm not someone who in the past, when I went directly into a spinoff, I found myself feeling a little bit like stifled creatively, because world building is such an inspiration for me when I write. I need to get out of a world for a bit and miss it before I come back in. So that will be something I'll probably try this time instead of going directly into it, because this storyline will end with it summed up. And so we'll see, but it would happen after. The ideas that I kind of have brewing would definitely happen after. And
I would say right now you've got a plot bunny with a standalone novel too. So
yes.
Yeah, I get those all the time. Aphrodite asked a question: with all of your current experience, what would you do differently now?
So I think one big one was what I had just said about not jumping from series to series in the same world, and allowing my creativity to sort of guide me a little bit more than what makes logical sense, because I find my best writing comes when I'm following my muse within reason. I like to plan things out. So in theory, I like to know the order of things that are going to go. But if I'm feeling like a little bit like right now, Shannon mentioned, I have this plot bunny for the standalone that I'm working on because I needed a little bit of break of this world because I know when I come back, it'll be better. And in the past, I've just kind of powered through because I guess that felt like the logical thing to do. So I think a big one is trusting my like inner creativity to guide me is a big thing that I'm trying to do differently now than I used to.
I love that. She's got a few more questions for you. What is your writing process? Also, how long does it generally take to write a first draft?
So I typically plot. I'm a plotter, and I usually will have like a general idea, like the idea that I had of a secret keeper and using those secrets. And I'll usually have that for a year or two, kind of as I'm finishing up another series. And then I just get these random thoughts and I just jot them down, and it doesn't make a lot of sense. But once I'm ready to start a project, I really just give myself some time, a couple weeks, a month, depending on the project, and plot. And I just think about, I plot a whole draft of the book usually, although it changes as I write. And that's probably the fastest thing for me is the plotting, because it gives me a lot of creative energy. The first draft is the most difficult part for me. And so that can take anywhere from 3 months to 9 months, usually, depending on the length of the book and what it is and kind of what's going on in my life. I have a 4-year-old. And so when he was younger, especially, that's like ever since honestly having him, it slowed my process down a little. So it kind of just really varies on what kind of book I'm writing. First books in the series take longer because I'm building the world kind of as I write. Whereas after that, I kind of have a grasp on the world. So I just have, and I know my characters a little more. Yeah. So yeah, anywhere really for a first draft from 3 months to, I think the longest one I've ever written took about a year.
Oh, okay. What advice would you give to someone wanting to write their first series?
Ooh, that's tough. I would say really try, like, I think everyone's writing process is so different, so I don't think there's one way at all. But I think for a first series, it's probably really just following. I mean, I think it's good to, if you can, have a grasp on the market and what you're aiming for, but also really allowing yourself that creative freedom to kind of fall in love with your own story and your own world and figure out your process, try different things. And are you a plotter or are you a pantser? Don't like feel like you have to do it any certain way, and just kind of see where it takes you.
I would say that like the last book in any series is always the hardest to write because you have to wrap up everything that you've brought forward in the plots. Unless you're having like a sequel series or something like that. Like the one that did the, what is her name? She's one of my favorite authors too. I can't remember her name, but she does duologies. So she has 2 books and then it follows in the timeline, the next 2 books, but they're all connected. So you have to be very careful that you're wrapping everything up, that the reader is going to be satisfied. And that, of course, you go through with it too. But I think that last book is always the hardest.
That's true.
Rachel says, what is your favorite and least favorite part of the writing process from the first word down?
So
writing the first draft.
Yeah. So for me, it's definitely my favorite thing is plotting, is the ideas, is coming up with, especially twists and turns and the world. And first drafting is just the hardest for me.
Right. Yeah.
In the middle, I like fleshing out and editing and polishing. I really like, as long as there's words on the page, I'm good. So actually, for the first time, as I'm writing this standalone, I'm just doing a quick fast draft with by dictating, or at least like chunks at a time. And I'm giving that a try. And so far that's helping because it's at least words on the page. I don't know why the blank page, it just slows me down.
Yeah, that's definitely a difference there between us. Then you're right. I also like the world building. I don't really do the plotting, but I like the world building, and so I'll do lots and lots of. I call it brainstorming. Do lots and lots of brainstorming, and then I love doing the first draft, and then I hate doing the revision and the editing, but it has to be done. So, it's not hard for me to get words down. Like I have 2, 3 maybe 3.5 drafts, I think, of other books I've written, but I've not started editing them. So,
Yeah.
but I'm like, I need to get these done and get them out. So I'm trying to plan for a couple of them at least to come out next year. But yeah,
It's a struggle to balance to,
yeah, to do the thing
I
that
don't
you
know.
like to do with the thing that you have to do to make it to the end.
Yeah. I don't know that I've ever heard of an author who likes every single part of it, but
Yeah,
I envy them if they do.
Aphrodite says, I'm similar. I can plan for a while, but once I begin writing, it takes me like 3 to 5 months to write the first draft.
Yeah.
I'm weird. No, you're not. No, you're not. It's your way. I write my series as one big story, then I divide it. LOL. Actually, I'm doing that with my sequel series to my Brides of the Dragon Kings, because the rest of the books are going to be linear, and I don't want to publish any of it until I have the whole thing written, because writing a series can be hard when you put yourself into a hole and you get to the last book, you're like, wait, that didn't work. And so I'm going to write it as one big story and then divide it up into books later. So I don't struggle too much with the endings as much. I have more trouble in the beginning, but even then I usually know where I am going. So, oh my gosh, Shanna has so many written, just waiting to get finished. I know. Aphrodite, you've been writing for a couple of years with nothing coming out. So I've been waiting. She has a great book that's out, but it was out already when I joined the AuthorTube community. So I read it. That was back in 2021. And yeah, so it's 4 years and a little bit. But I'm here for you, Aphrodite, once you have it out. Now, she did submit a short story to the AWC anthology that was paranormal romance. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward to what she's writing next, because she had published a new adult before, but it wasn't like romance. It was just new adult. So, yeah. All right. I now have the last 2 questions I like to ask my authors. But the first one is, who is your favorite romantasy author, or an author whose work really influenced how you approach romance and fantasy?
So not particularly a romantasy author, but a young adult fantasy author with some romance in it. My favorite author is Laini Taylor. She wrote Daughter of Smoke and Bone series, which is probably the more romance heavy one. And then a duology, Strange the Dreamer. And I love her writing and her world building and the way she creates characters. There's just a lot of depth to her characters and her world. And, you know, they're not morally gray in the way that some of the like darker romantasy characters are morally gray, but you understand the villains, at least, even if they're not morally gray. Like, it makes sense where they're coming from. I don't think there's a single character in the book that's like a cookie cutter character. It's just a lot of depth to her writing. And she writes beautiful, like, lyrical prose that I can only dream of ever writing, but I do love her stories a lot. So she's probably my biggest inspiration.
I remember you telling me to read Strange the Dreamer. I have it. I had not been able to really get into it.
Yeah, it's a slower start. And that one especially is, I mean, there's a small little romance storyline in it, but it's much more just fantasy.
Did they have a movie come out with her book, the other series?
No.
Okay, so it's been selected for adaptation. I was trying to look it up because I remember hearing something about it. It's just been selected for screenwriting adaptation, but it hasn't been done yet. So that's with the Daughter of Smoke and Bone.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the last question I have from my authors is, what is your favorite your favorite fantasy or romance trope, and why?
Oh, it definitely has to be enemies to lovers. Always. I mean, far before it has kind of taken off lately. So I grew up watching Xena, like the show Xena, and the dynamic between Ares and Xena, like that was my favorite thing then. I've actually kind of like rewatched it a little recently, and I realized I'm like, that's when this started. Like,
yeah, this is your love story.
And it just never really stopped. So I think that
it's
one will always be my favorite. I just love the dynamic of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's so many different ways of doing it. And I know there was, I don't know who I talked with about it. I don't know if we had that conversation or not, but it was a couple of years ago when, you know, a lot of the readers were like, okay, this is not enemies to lovers. This is not enemies to lovers. Enemies to lovers is when you're actually like fighting on the opposite sides of a war or something like that. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah, I think enemies can happen in so many different ways. But yeah, that's also one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say, yeah, it doesn't always have to be me. Like they don't have to always like fully like want to like harm each other, but that can work too. But there has to be like real distaste, like
Mhm.
not just, oh, this person annoys me. Like there has to be that kind of conflict in there.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And Aphrodite says, I've been a punk about publishing. I'm trying to polish my series so they can go out together and readers won't have to wait because I have issues. No, I totally understand that. That's why I'm gonna write my full sequel series before I get it out, and that's why I'm thinking about what else can I publish. And I was like, well, I've got several things written. I just need to polish them up and probably expand one. Because one, I have like it's a novella length, but it's just her point of view. I'm like, if I get his point of view in there, I've got a full novel. So
Yeah.
but
I'm the complete opposite. I like in the past have considered like holding and rapid releasing, and I just completely stop writing if I think I have to write 3 books before I get to publish. Like it just
well, what if you had other stuff publishing while you're writing that series?
maybe, but it's just the idea. Like it becomes like too large of a chunk for me to think about. So even if the book's finished, I don't know why, if it's not like released, then in my head, and maybe if I wrote faster a little bit, but I think like, I think like right now when I'm like a book every 6 months, every 9 months, it kind of depends. The thought of like breaking them up in between just would be hard for me.
Yeah.
Maybe someday, maybe I'll grow, because I think it's a great way to do it.
Well, like you said, your writing process also slowed way down when you had your kiddo. And so once he gets to the point where he's more self-sufficient, he doesn't need as much, you might find that you get faster again because you got a little more time and more mental energy.
True. Yeah. And I am trying different things with my process, like this dictating draft, and perhaps that would help too.
It helped me. I mean, I was a slow typer. I could think of things really fast, but I was a very slow typer. Once I moved into dictation, it picked up really fast for me.
Yeah.
So, would you say Daughter of Smoke and Bone is a comp to yours or just inspiration?
I would say for this series, with the House of Secrets and Vows, it's just, she's just a general inspiration as an author. I wouldn't, as far as the trying to make sure that there's depth to my characters and everything. But I do have I'm writing a standalone currently that will have a series follow it after I wrap up this Crown of Deceit series with House of Secrets and Vows. And I would say that one would be a little bit more of a comp just based on the type of world and everything I'm building. So eventually I have a little bit stronger match to kind of her. But this current series is just more, I just like her as an author.
Yeah. And oh my God, I love Xena, says Mars. Aphrodite likes the one room close proximity trope.
Yes.
That's especially useful when you have enemies to lovers.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, yes, that's a good one.
Yeah. You don't need a war to be enemies. My only enemies to lovers' tales is simply the 2 characters have been pit against each other their whole lives, so they grow not to like each other and hadn't even met in real life. Not gray. Yeah. My first book, and if y'all didn't know, I edit Jenna's books, and she edits my books. So we know a little bit about each other's stories. So my first book, Curse of Scales and Feathers, is enemies to lovers, but it's situational and not like a war or anything like that. And then the second book, definitely, I didn't think was enemies to lovers at all. And maybe that's why that's like my least favorite book out of all of them. But I can't wait to send. Jenna's going to be getting my my 3rd book after it goes to my readers a little bit later this year. I can't wait to read it. It's so good, and that is true enemies to lovers. Like they're on opposite sides of 2 different cultures that have been at war for each other for centuries. They're also in different secret orders that are against each other. So there's like so much there. And I absolutely love it. I can't wait for you to read it.
I think you brought up a good point though, that like you weren't as excited about the second book because it wasn't, it didn't really align with what drives you to write as much, what gets you excited. And that's what I've learned a lot recently for me is I'm so much better to really think about what I love to write, not just what makes sense for my series or makes sense for the market, but like what is going to get me excited to get to the page.
Yeah.
And enemies to lovers does do that.
Me too. But you know, and I kept saying, why I should have wrote Zane and Nira's story second. I was like, I kept telling myself that the whole time I was writing the second book. I was like, no, I'm really looking forward to that story. So I need to get through this one. So getting through this one is my reward is to get to write the next book. And so that's how it kept me going. Otherwise, I think I would have thrown it out and been like, that story's never going to be told. So
Well, your world's unique too, that they're kind of all simultaneously happening. So you did have that flexibility.
yeah, I could have. But I was like, no. Finish this book, then you can get to Zane and Nears. And I'm just glad. I think that, writing that book was a bit hard for me. I wanted to give up writing at several points, but I think it also helped me become a better writer for the third book. So, yeah. All right. We are now done with the questions. So we are going to move into the fun and games portion. So the one that Genna chose was Romantasy trope, smash or pass. Make your choices with us and have some fun. Hold on, I need to pull up my screen so I can explain this one. In this one, we'll go through some well-known Romantasy tropes and make quick gut reaction calls. So there's no like this. We did like trope court earlier. I think that was that the first night. I think it was the first day of the month. So this is a little bit different. So in trope court, we could say, we could give it a verdict, and then we talked about, why we chose that verdict or whatnot. This one I want us to move fast. Like, okay, this is what it is. So smash or pass. Smash means that we love seeing that trope in books or love writing it. Pass means it's usually not for us. No deep analysis, just fast reactions and first instincts. And if you're hanging out in the chat, of course, we'd love for you to play along with us. There's a little bit of a lag between like the streaming and YouTube. So we might be a bit ahead, and I'll have to stop and see the results as they come in. I say it's fast. I will try to slow down a little bit, like do it, give some time in between each one so people can get, do their reactions. And let us know which tropes you're smashing and which ones you're passing as we go. Share my screen. So I put this into a wheel.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so it's going random, and it's got sound effects too. So we'll see if the sound effects work.
Oh, wow.
All right. Grumpy times sunshine.
Smash.
I would say smash too. All right. Let me click over to the comment side. We'll do the next one. Jealousy scenes.
Smash.
I smash. Yeah. Smash. Use reverse harem. I think I pass most of the time on this, but I do read occasionally.
Yeah, I would say same. That one's hard for me. I don't write it, but certain ones I will read.
Yeah, pass. I did try the first few ones I put in here. I did pull from your book and your series, but I don't know if because there's so many here, we may not get to them.
Yeah. Okay.
Love as a weakness and a weapon. I think I was from previous one.
Smash. Done. How it's done, depending how it's done.
Definitely would say smash on this one too.
Yep.
I'll let the chat catch up here. So I think pass might have been on a couple times ago, and then Aphrodite was smash. So I think that might have been on the reverse harem. I'm not sure. There's such a lag between the streaming and what shows up on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
All right, for this one is pass for Aphrodite and smash for Mars. Pregnancy trope.
I pass.
I would say pass for me too. Saying that, there is a pregnancy in the next book, but not until the very end.
I think the thing with tropes is there's might be a reason for any trope that I'm not saying like I would never use a trope if it like really made sense to my story. But like I have yet to write a pregnancy trope for any of like my main characters and have no intention to ever. And I don't typically read it, but never say never.
I think the pregnancy trope, when it's used on purpose with a romance or a romantasy, is like it has to do with like getting the main characters, the love interests together,
Yeah.
or it's a pregnancy in the past. And I definitely don't. Mine is more fantasy based pregnancy
Gotcha.
in mine. So, yeah. Let's see. My smash was on white shoes. I figured. Yeah. Passed on that. Not sure. I haven't read enough of it. Yeah. I've read a few, and when it's like the main reason why the characters either split or come together, I don't think I like it as much in that case.
I would agree, but I just don't think I've read it. So, but on gut, that wouldn't probably be a book I would want.
Yeah, it wouldn't draw you to read it. Who falls harder?
Smash.
Yeah. I think I always have my guys fall harder.
Yeah, I think so too.
Not a fan of pregnancy tropes except secret babies. Love redeems everything. Definitely a pass. I'm not past smash.
So for me, everything, like I don't think love can redeem everything to me, but love redeeming to a certain extent, yes.
I like it.
There's a fine line there for me, but the idea that people are doing things through love, I like that as sort of a justification. Full redemption, probably not my thing.
I wonder if you're gonna like my linear series because it's between the Snow Witch and the fourth brother, and of course she needs to be redeemed in the reader's eyes and in everybody else's eyes before she can have her own love. So
I think I'm really, like, when it comes to, like, I think growth can happen. I think the word redemption to me is like a really big word to where if they grow past something, it can be moved past, but like redemption to me. So maybe, I don't know. I guess it probably depends on what we mean by the word.
Yeah, true.
It doesn't make it okay to me, but like it can make sense to make a character stronger and better.
L. Hollingsworth, hello, good morning. Mars Smash, I think this is on the He Falls Harder. Pass, I like He Falls first, but I like Equal Love. I mean, I think there's fun, like he could fall harder, but then they're both hard in love afterward, maybe. But
that's kind of how I see it too.
Yeah.
That's probably, yeah.
Mars says, I don't know. Redemption, not so much, but love as a reason I can get into. Yeah. All right. Or imbalance. This one has to be done right, but I would say smash most of the time.
Depending how it's done. That one's a real nuance to me. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like the bully romance where there's a power imbalance and it's just, putting down the female main character.
Yeah.
But I like it.
I like when they have different types of power. So one might be the more like magical, strong, whatever. And then the other one has like shines in a different way. So I guess I don't know if it would be like a power imbalance when it, let's say, comes to magic, but like as far as the other character still has their own power.
Well, my novelette series that's coming out this year, I have 8 novelettes coming out starting in April and one every month. It's all a power imbalance because the female main characters are human, no magic, and the main male characters are all fae, so they all have magic. So there's already a power imbalance to start with. So I think it's just the way you work it in there. So like none of mine's bully romance at all. I don't write that. So yeah, I'm excited. The first 3 have already been gone through my Omega readers, and 2 of my Omega readers have read the next set of 3 and they are loving them. So I think I've done it right.
Good.
So Mars says pass. Smash, power imbalance. It makes me root for the underdog. Yeah, I can see that. More questionable decisions for love.
Smash.
Where did I leave off here? I think it was pass. No, did I do that already? No, yeah, I did that one. Okay, this one. Hollingsworth said, I agree. Love should be equal, but I can't stand books where women are bullied. Yeah, me neither. I don't like those books. I think there's always a power imbalance in some way, whether it's magic or it's in political, however your system is set up, or if one has more money, so there's always some type of power imbalance there.
Well,
So I
it's
think,
conflict, right?
yeah, yeah,
Like
true.
there would be no conflict if they were, I don't know. It'd be hard not to have some difference.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, smash, smash, smash. Oh, the spelling is St. Mars was already said smash. I knew what you were saying. Oh yeah, definitely a smash for me on this one. Yeah, Forbidden Romance. I mean, that's just fodder for the what do they call it? No, they call it butter. Theodore Taylor calls it butter. That's butter. Butter, butter, butter. Oh well, I can't type either. It's okay. We knew what you guys were saying. Give them a chance to catch up. I think we'll do one more after this, and then we'll head into our sprint.
Okay.
I'm just waiting a second for the chat. See if. Oh, we got some coming in. Smash, smash. I mean, it's Romeo and Juliet, right? So, that's not really romance. Right, last one. Secretly soft villain. Actually, I do like this one. So I always say
smash. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's complexity. I mean,
yes. Smash all the way for Forbidden. All right. That was the last one. Secret soft villain. If anyone wants to get on there, we'll give it a second. Let me get the right tab open. Yeah. So after this, we're going to head into the Happily Ever After sprint. And for this, Genna chose to go without a writing prompt. So we're just going to spend the next 30 minutes working on whatever it is we need to focus on today. I've got the hiccups. Smash for Mars. Smash for Aphrodite. Secretly soft works for me. Yes, I love that. Okay. All right. So whatever you guys want to be working on, whether you're reading, writing, housework, coursework, day job, or just taking care of you, we are going to do a 30-minute sprint. We'll come back and we'll talk about, whatever it is that we got productive on. I'm going to be working on A Curse of Spikes and Smoke. I'm starting my third revision draft with my critique partners' comments. So I'm going to get through that. And then I've made a revision document, which is like nearly 10,000 words long of revisions I need to make to the novel. I kind of, see if I can work some of that in per chapter as I go through it with my critique partner and what she has. So I'm making dust jackets today. Ooh, that sounds exciting.
Ooh.
Like, are you just like, is it like in a graphics design program or you're like physically making dust jackets? So let me share the right screen. Well, I stopped sharing. That's why it's not there. Okay, I do have it. Putting the timer up here. Trying to get my bookshelf done. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, I didn't ask you. What are you working on?
Oh, I'm working on the first draft of the standalone I'm working on.
Okay. You've already started it?
Yeah, we're about 15,000 words so far.
It's still the good part. It's usually when I finish the first act and then I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be a writer.
Right.
The first act is always great, but the getting in the second act.
One would think after so many books that would go away, but I think it only gets worse for me.
Yeah. Oh, graphic design, having them print it elsewhere. Gotcha. Okay. All right. For everyone ready to go for the sprint, we'll get started in 3, 2, 1, and good luck.
Bye-bye.
All right, it's time. How did you do? Trying to see where I left off. Go ahead. If you want to go ahead, Genna, if you want to let us know how you did.
Oh, yeah, good. Got a few words in and went over a little bit of the scene I'm working on.
I did try to figure out which chapter this is without having to scroll. Chapter 7. So I started with prologue and chapter 7. Added 45 words in revision.
Nice. I didn't track, but
yeah, no, it's all right. You don't have to. I gave it
yeah.
I found that by gamifying it, it just, I don't know, it gives me more motivation. So
yeah, the writing, when I'm like just simply drafting, I like to track and count and everything.
It's also let me, by doing that, I can see like how long each part of the process takes me.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And I was able to use that data because I've been collecting data for 3 years. Excuse me. That's one way I was able to see that I'm going faster now with dictation. But by using that data, I was able to like reverse engineer like how much time I needed to do revisions on all of my projects this year to get them all published in time.
Nice. Yeah, that's helpful.
Saturday said, I'm not the best at design covers, but I'm having a ball doing them. Yeah, I like Shattered. I know you changed it, but I liked your original cover. Mars says, mostly just made homemade Valentine's cards for my husband. Going to do 7 cards for 7 days. Oh, that's so sweet. Aww. No, they're not good. A child made them and it got 127 words and random crafts. Are you putting poems in them? She's a poet.
Oh, wow.
And oh, so sweet. Says Aphrodite and Mars. Yeah, I think so too. All right, let me find my screen here. And yeah, so before we wrap up the chat, can you tell us a little bit about what you're working on next and when it might come out? I know you're working on the standalone.
Yeah, so I'm working on the standalone, and my goal is to get that drafted probably by the end of April. It's because it's a standalone. I don't think it's going to be as long as some of my other books, but maybe it will be. But the idea is a little bit smaller. So as far as like just the plot line. And so I'm hoping to get that done then. And then once that kind of is off with my first editor, then I'm hoping to get a fast draft of the 3rd book in the Crown of Deceit series done, and maybe hopefully have that one out by the end of the year.
Yay. Is this a different editor, not me editor?
Yeah, I am another fellow Spalding friend, Rebecca. So usually she's my first round, and then you're my second round.
Yeah, I think I remember you telling me that now that you're saying it. I'm like, oh yeah, she told me this. I liked my original Shattered cover, but every time I look at it, it reminds me of all the issues I had that forced me to make it in the first place. You know what I mean? Yeah, I understand that. But all right, so before we end the show, please tell everyone where they can find you and purchase your books.
Yeah, so I'm on Amazon and in Kindle Unlimited, and then as far as social media goes, I'm mostly on Instagram.
Okay, I just dropped the Instagram link, and I did have all of your book page link that was pinned to the top of the chat, but I'm going to drop it into chat again in case if anyone missed it. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, thanks for having me.
That was great. I mean, well, we always like to get together and talk anyway, so this just kind of add more to the conversation. All right, thank you everyone for joining us today for Charm Chats and Happily Ever After Sprints. I'll have guest author Olinda Brown on tomorrow, who comes to us from Australia. And so that will be February 8th at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, and that will do it. Bye, everyone.
I want to tell you something. Don't be scared.
It's midnight, baby, just us two, no bright lights, nothing to prove. Your handshake, mine do too, but it feels right being close to you.
Come closer, don't look away. We both know why you came to stay. Your heartbeat's loud, I hear it to this moment.
Move slow, feel the heat start to grow. If you want me, let it show. Tell me stop.